In today's world, it's hard to think about life without Netflix. The streaming platform is quite literally the face of this generation. From classics to new documentaries, Netflix truly just has it all. But did you know that Netflix started off as the very first online DVD rental service in 1998? Although Netflix is a significant player in the streaming world today, they've been an innovator since its beginnings in the early 90s. Yes, you heard it right. And that's just the start of it all. Before we go any further, show us some love by smashing the subscribe button and clicking the bell icon. Let's take a step back in time as explore the remarkable journey of Netflix and discover how a small streaming platform grew to become one of today's most influential media giants. 1997. At this time, the internet wasn't really a major thing. People weren't exactly looking up movies on their computers, but just because you couldn't stream movies didn't mean that people weren't watching movies. They were, but in a different way. DVDs were all the jazz. Movie night used to come with a hefty price tag. Before streaming services, watching the latest releases meant dropping top dollar for physical copies of each movie. That made it difficult for people to keep up with all the content available, and if you wanted regular entertainment, your wallet would quickly feel the strain. Movies and documentaries used to be much scarcer in the past, with audiences having to spend for each piece of content they wanted. Renting DVDs was an option, but oftentimes what you sought after would already likely have been taken by someone else. On top of that, you had to physically go out just to get them, and no one likes to do that. So one day, Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph, the founders of Netflix, had the idea that would remedy both of the problems at the same time: renting DVDs and having them arrive at your doorstep. You could pick them from a catalog on their official website and they'd just be mailed to you. The only problem was that mail at the time was intense. Letters and packages would get messed up all the time. So they needed confirmation that the DVDs would actually arrive intact. So instead of just wondering if there would ever be a way, they decided that they would just do a test run. They would just mail a DVD to themselves. The DVD arrived intact, which meant that they could actually do it. In 1998, they officially launched the very first website. With it, their customers would be able to rent out any of the DVDs they wanted to watch, and there was still a sales option too. For the following year, the demand was steadily increasing, but they could feel that there was room for things to go to the next level. And that's where the first version of the Netflix we know today was born. Up until this point, Netflix was essentially like Blockbuster, but online. So their customers were just saving the time and effort it would take to physically go to get their rental DVDs. Instead of renting out individual DVDs and risking a late fee if they didn't send their DVDs back on time, people could just opt for the Netflix subscription. For $20 a month, subscribers could rent as many DVDs as they want in a month. That was a steal. It has gotten even better. They started mailing everyone coupons for free trials. What's even better is that the entire process felt like it was for the customer and not a typical business model whatsoever. You just create your list on the website and place an order. The DVDs would arrive in 2 to 3 days, and you'd go straight to watching them. It immediately took Netflix from being a little company just getting into the DVD rental market to one that was directly rivaling major companies like Blockbuster. It caused an immediate shift in the market. What made things even crazier was when Netflix officially launched the movie recommendation feature in the year 2000. This meant you'd have unlimited movie nights even if you didn't already have a movie in mind. Because of this big change, Netflix was able to get its membership numbers up to 5 million. That was crazy for the early 2000s. But the thing that the founders saw coming was the fact that eventually, DVDs would become obsolete, and rather than waiting for it to happen, they accelerated the process. How? By going digital. In 2007, Netflix started its very first streaming platform. The selections took a while to get there, but they eventually got so many options up that people just flocked to the platform for the convenience of watching movies and TV shows whenever they felt like it without ever having to step out of the house. Netflix was always 2 steps ahead of everyone else. They received a patent from the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office in 2003, which meant that only they could use this business model. It would mean that Netflix would be the only one doing what it did, which put them at a major advantage. At this point, Netflix was making close to $100 million in profits. something that only a few companies were able to do. Even though almost everyone doubted Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph when they first came up with the idea of Netflix, they proved to the world that not only were they ahead of the curve, they created it. With their business model being that they always had to be 3 steps ahead of everyone, they were able to come up with the idea that dominates the world today nearly 3 decades ago. While most companies were in competition with each other, for Reed Hastings, the only competition was sleep. With all the changes, Netflix started looking more and more different every year, but the core idea still remained the same. You buy a subscription and have your entire selection at your disposal all the time. But today, Netflix isn't just the DVD rental service it once was, it's an entire media house. You see, while the rest of the entertainment world tried to learn a thing or two about innovation from Netflix, Netflix learned some lessons from them too. Household names like Disney, Fox, and Paramount were all major providers of entertainment. Because they didn't just provide, they created. So Netflix started dabbling into that too. The company initially became a bit of a revival ground. Shows like Lucifer, Shadowhunters, and Cobra Kai, which had lost the battle on their original platforms, got a brand new life at Netflix. Soon, anytime a TV show franchise wouldn't really be doing that well or be canceled, the world would scream and beg for Netflix to step in and give it another chance. For the majority of the cases, that has really worked. With these revivals, Netflix captures the attention of fans from the original platforms these shows were canceled on. And with major hits like Stranger Things, Wednesday, and other Netflix originals, they can build on that customer base even more. All the while still being the same Netflix it was in 1998. Netflix has been able to stay the company it's always been while changing pretty much every step of the way. Netflix is moving towards a model that is a mixture of everything the company has ever learned. One of the main things is that it's integral to look where no one is looking. Back in the 90s, that was the internet. Today, it's traditional advertising. While other media giants try to copy the model Netflix essentially created, Netflix looked into the direction of traditional advertisers, those that had lost their business as the 18 to 49-year-olds are no longer watching traditional TV.
The viewers, because the 18 to 49 segment had moved online. They were not watching linear TV. And so the advertisers are desperate for connected TV or internet TV solutions. So that's the real thing that I missed, and that we didn't have to steal away the advertising revenue. In fact, it was pouring into connected TV if the inventory is there.
While those companies still have the money to spend, they don't know how to spend it or how to reach their audience. That's where Netflix brings the next change. It's going to help connect those companies to their potential customers in the same traditional way, but on an untraditional platform. The revenue that could bring for the company would be astronomical. Time and time again, Netflix has proven that change is almost always a good thing, granted you do it right. Could this be ultimate version of Netflix? Let us know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos just like this. We'll see you at the next one.